Hey, Battle Bill here with another video. That is 5 straight uploads here on the YouTube channel. There was a little bit of time between the last one and this one, but that's because we've got ourselves some new Go Battle League metas. Today's battles are focused and featured around the Spring Cup meta, which includes 1500 CP Pokemon of the Fairy, Grass, or Water typing with 2 bans. Toxapex and Mantine. Mantine actually slipped through the cracks for a short period of time because of Niantic's. These battles end up taking place after it got properly banned, and we have a bunch of success with this team comp. I got it from one of my Twitch chatters, so shout out to Shorty B. The main focus of this team is Poison Jab Roserade. Poison Jab gives Roserade some flexibility as a Pokemon that can farm down opponents and then use that energy on potential back lines or whatever Pokemon are remaining. We're choosing Poison Jab over Bullet Seed because even though Bullet Seed generates energy very well, it doesn't hit very hard, and we want to take advantage of Roserade's glass cannonness. That's not a word, I'm making it up, go with it. Poison Jab hits hard as a fast move and still generates energy pretty well, and that led us to a bunch of success within these battles. So if you're excited, this is about the 20th time I've done this intro. I'm not even gonna lie. If you could drop me a like, a comment, or a subscribe for all this effort and trying to get out consistent YouTube content would be greatly appreciated as always. Let's get into these battles now because our Roserade is about to weather ball this Ferrothorn with that double super effective goodiness and one-shot the Ferrothorn's remaining health, even though it doesn't say that's super effective. Maybe it's neutral and weather ball just hits super hard and it's a nuke move now. No, it's Niantic screwing up the game like they're just so good at. You'll notice throughout these battles when things are resisted, they won't show up as resisted. When things are super effective, they won't show up as super effective. Everything's apparently neutral. All typings hit other typings for neutral damage. That's a known fact. Unless it's a fast move, then that apparently shows through. But the charge moves, not so much. Drill Peck hitting this Pelipper for some good actual neutral damage, but then we're gonna see a Hurricane coming through from this Pelipper, and that doesn't do neutral damage. Empoleon's a steel type, it resists that. Niantic, please, we beg of you, just fix this game for the love of God. Regardless, Empoleon takes out the Pelipper. We have a shield advantage. We are getting farmed down, and our better answer for Lantern is pretty low in health. Roserade doesn't mind the Lantern matchup either. Obviously, it's a pretty dominant one, but the problem is resisted damage hits Roserade like it's neutral, so maybe that's why Niantic did this. They knew I was running such a glass cannon Pokemon, and they didn't want to confuse the viewers on why resisted damage was hitting so hard. Speaking of which, that was resisted, double resisted, didn't do any damage to the opponent's Roserade, and they are able to now get off a Weather Ball and get our last shield. We basically need to get to 2 Grass Knots. They need to hope that we bait, so we're not going to. We will survive a Thunderbolt and I think a Surf. I think 2 Thunderbolts will take out our remaining health. So essentially, we need a Grass Knot to land. We're going straight for the nuke option because baiting and them calling it is their win con, and we get the dub, and we're getting into the next match. We've got another weird matchup here with Trevenant up against Tentacruel, which is something I like and dislike about the Spring Cup meta, because a lot of these matchups I feel like play out differently, whether you go 1 shield or 0 shields, or if you bait and nuke. A lot of things can quickly overturn in the blink of an eye just based on a single decision in a match like this. We land the Shadow Ball, we win the 0 shields against that Tentacruel quite comfortably. They then come in with their Ferrothorn, and we're gonna get off this Shadow Ball. They're gonna go for the Bullet Seed farm down, and now we're in a very odd spot where if I had Roserade with Bullet Seed, I would probably just farm up to Weather Ball and then throw it right away, maybe get some residual energy. We're gonna shield up here, and we're gonna notice they're running Mirror Shot, which is going to convince us that, you know what, we can tank a couple Mirror Shots. Poison Jab is single resisted because of the Steel and Grass typing of Ferrothorns, so let's go for this ridiculous farm down, and I might have gotten just a little bit too greedy considering what's about to happen. They just get off that last Mirror Shot, which is super unfortunate because I don't think it would have killed Roserade, but I would have been a little too low in health, and then they come in with their own Roserade, and then we're going to match it with Empoleon. Empoleon's going to take a bunch of neutral damage from Roserade. They're going to get off this Grass Knot that almost one-shots us. We're going to then chuck a Drill Peck, get their first shield, but the problem is the Grass Knot hits too hard. It hits too damn hard. Roserade, the king or queen of the glass cannonness, and wins the CMP. If I would have won CMP there, I would have only gotten their last shields, I would have lost the match regardless. And on to the next one. I think my overfarm is what cost me that match. We've got Trevenant up against Dugong here. Pretty good matchup. Gonna get off some super effective seed bombs while they do some super effective ice damage to us. We are going to get not greedy, but we're gonna play out the one shields. We got their first shield. We're gonna throw this next seed bomb on hopefully decent-ish timing. This is not going to take out because we're debuffed. Then again, seed bomb doesn't hit all that hard for it to take out Dugong from that health. Our opponent then makes a misplay here because they don't realize that they should be able to ice shard us down, and even if I do get off a move, they would have survived it. Regardless, we appreciate them using both of their shields and then wasting their energy. We're now going to come in with Empoleon, throw a neutral drill peck. We're going to let this drill run come through because even though it's super effective and it might not appear that way, we can still tank it quite comfortably. Our opponent then comes in with their Ferrothorn. We're trying to wait until they get to Flash Cannon, maximize energy, but Weather Ball is not going to take out. We are weary of that Flash Cannon though, so we shields up and we can go for the jab down, whereas with Bullet Seed, we would have had to have thrown another Weather Ball. Their last Pokemon is going to be a Galarian Weezing with Fairy Winds, and we're just going to chunk away with these jabs and Weather Ball the living heck out of the Weezing. The fast move damage is adding up, the Weather Ball damage is adding up, and the opponent is forced to throw before they get farmed down. If we were Bullet Seeding again here, we also wouldn't have been able to fast move them down before, we just win that so nicely. Bullet Seed would give them a chance to overfarm and potentially hit the Roserade and the Empoleon. That's what I'm trying to say. Next match, really weird stuff going on here. We've got a Togekiss, we've got a Grottle. This opponent's going for the Grass Hole variant for Spring Cup. I don't appreciate you, and we're gonna put your team in its place where it rightfully belongs. They're gonna get off a charge move here. We decide not to shield because of the fact that it's only a body slam and we can survive. They also gave up both their shields, and we can very comfortably come back in with Trevenant and literally let them throw any charge move. So we have a 2 shield to no shield advantage. Their lead mon is the Togekiss, which was an awkward matchup for us in the 2 shields, but definitely not in the 2-0 shields. We land the nuke Shadow Ball. GG's trainer, stop running that team. Karma got you bad there. Next match, we've got a very good lead here. Trev on Lantern. Opponent save swaps into their own Trev. We then match with our Roserade. This is again another circumstance where we're pretty satisfied with having Poison Jab. Because of all that fast move damage that we're applying to the Trev, we're going to throw this Weather Ball in case they want to get off another charge move. We do get the shield, and what's really cool here is we can commit another shield and then farm the Trev all the way down, where instead it would have just been an energy pacing contest between Roserade and the Trevenant. They then come back in with their Lantern. We're going to get off the Grass Knot for some heavy, super effective damage. Hey, it showed up. Did the game fix itself like mid-set? Is that what happened? Now I'm kind of curious to see how the rest of my battles look. Regardless, opponent comes in with their final Pokemon that ends up being a Dugong, and we need to make a good play here. Because Dugong can hit both of my remaining Pokemon for super effective damage, we want to catch the Ice Shard. This is going to be double resisted by Empoleon's Water Steel typing, and now the game is back to being broken because that didn't show up as resisted. Regardless, we're debuffed. They're going to have to throw a Drill Run to take out our remaining health. We're going to get off some good neutral damage against the Dugong here, and I think we still survive the Drill Run, which is good because it's not going to be very comfortable for them to Ice Shard us all the way down. They even try to make a catch there, which ends up kind of being successful, like I see it coming type thing, and I'm happy I didn't get off my charge move. The reason why is we can tank a Surf from Lantern, and we get the proper farm that we need from our Trevenant to take out their Dugong with a Seed Bomb on some CMP. If I do take out their Lantern and like I took a Spark or two and my Empoleon gets farmed down and my Trev has no energy, I just lose that match. So oddly enough, not having fast enough instincts to make a decision ends up being my savior and my helpfulness there. Or no, I mean, I totally Giga Checked, 5-headed it. I knew the entire way. I would never lie to you guys. I got lucky, but hey, it worked out and I did everything I was supposed to do. That's okay. Anyhow, moving on. Trevenant on G-Weez. We get overheated. We played out the 1 shields. We're going to come in with Empoleon because it hits super hard. They then pivot because they don't want to get farmed. They're then going to try to get to a Flash Cannon against our Roserade. This is going to do that double super effective goodiness. And we're going to go for the jab down before they even get a charge move off. Thank you, trainer. they definitely could have forced a shield from us, and then we would have gotten this weather ball off anyway, which would have gotten their last shield or taken out the wheezing. It did get their last shield. We're cool with getting overheated here. Roserade's done plenty. They then decide not to overheat us, so we go for the greedy fast move farm down, and then we've decided, you know what, since you decided to make that play and keep our Roserade alive, we are going to get very greedy and essentially save our Roserade and then jab down. We throw the weather ball. We want to bait their shields, and then we forgot that they didn't have a shield. Now listen, I'm not opposed to the bad mannering, the BMing from time to time when it's fun and it's all in good jokes. I legitimately in this situation thought they had a shield, and I almost threw my entire win con away. Anyhow, we pulled it out. I just, it's a part of the battle content to make things up here more difficult than they seem, but that's just how good this team is. It plays around the battle Bill-isms. Could you ask for more? Could you? It works for me. That means it works for you. Regardless, Shadow Ball, bang! Apparently, the life lesson from all these sets is don't bait at all, because Pelipper would have survived the Seed Bomb there. They definitely don't survive the Shadow Ball, and then we didn't even have to worry about them throwing a charge move. We end up taking out one of their Pokemon, getting their shields, doing solid damage to their Tentacruel, and we have Alignment. We're going to come in comfortably with Empoleon because we literally resist anything the Tentacruel could possibly throw. They will resist our fast moves also, but we at least have the option of Drill Peck, which will hit for some neutral damage. We got a little too greedy there. They get off the next Scald. We don't get debuffed, which is nice. Their last Pokemon is Ferrothorn, and we want to make sure, again, we land the Weather Balls and we don't let them Flash Cannon us. We're both playing the one shield. They decide not to shield at all. I decide 2 shields because I'm knowing that even if they bait, I should be able to jab down. I'm able to. If they don't bait, their last mon is the Tentacruel, obviously, because we just saw it. We get off this Weather Ball. We expected them to want to use their last shield. They've essentially just given up, and that is GG's. On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. Let me stop trying to sing this jingle because I'm gonna get flexed on. Bars. I'm actually gonna get copyrighted. Not the flex on thing, because that part didn't make sense, but it rhymed. It sounded good. And rhyming is what all the people want. Okay, anyhow, imagine like a rhyme every casting of these battles, like fast raps. Okay, I'm totally ending on a whole different loop here. I barely even know what's happening in my own battles most of the time. I don't know how I'd write a rap to be spinning bars over each of them, but it'd be highly impressive if I could pull it off. I can't. Don't get your hopes up. It's never happening. Love you though. Lantern, Surfing Trevenant here. We're gonna get super duper greedy. We're gonna go for the Shadow Claw farm down, I believe, and then I don't remember what their last Pokemon was. Oh, it was the Abomasnow. They recognize that, and they don't want my Trev to have energy, so they make a pivot, and this is, again, another situation where we like having Poison Jab, because instead of us throwing energy, we can just give up both of our shields, because, that's a genius play. They still have both of theirs, but we have an F ton of energy, so that's really cool. Superior comes in, and again, this is a Grass, Fairy, Water meta, so why wouldn't you want to run Jab when it's literally hitting 2 out of the 3 typings for super effective damage? So many grass types, so many fairies. We're spamming, we're hitting, we're getting CMP, we're even shitting. Sorry, I hear a potential rhyme scheme and I have to go for it. I'm just that kind of fiend. Damn it. Regardless, the Aerial Ace, Roserade goes down, Trev comes back in. We know they're going to get to the Aerial Ace before we can farm down, so then we Seed Bomb them, takes out the Superior's remaining health. Their last Pokemon is a Lantern. We hope they have no energy to get the Thunderbolts off, because I think Surf we just barely survive. Whatever it is, though, we CMP on that last charge move, and bang! And that's another Dubsky Wubsky. Trev puts Lantern in its Crantern. That's not a word. Regardless, next match, Trevenant, Poliwrath. Good matchup, but if they catch and then later in the game we end up at an energy disadvantage, it could be bad, because Poliwrath, super effective Icy Wind. They then swap to try and catch, and we say screw this. We have another answer for that Poliwrath later in the game, so we're gonna stay in, and then I make a misplay. Instead of, I was hoping they wouldn't know my count. I also shielded a Thunder there, which was bad. I was hoping they wouldn't know my count, and I tried to go for, I just threw the Seed Bomb. I was hoping to get their shield. It didn't work because they knew my count. They played well. Regardless, the Poliwrath comes back in, throws an Icy Wind, does an awkward amount of damage because they're going to get a Punch farm down, so we're forced to pivot. Thankfully, they stay in because Poliwrath would be very bad against our Empoleon, but the other reason why I pivoted to begin with is if I can force that last shield, then at least Empoleon has Drill Peck, which would hit super effective damage on the Poliwrath and wouldn't be so bad. The problem is I'm like addicted to baiting. I just keep on baiting and it keeps on not working. At least this time I built up to the right amount of energy on the charge move for the nuke. Still didn't work. They still called it. Like, shout out to them. At the very least, we can come back in with Empoleon, actually Trevenant, now Empoleon. We could have come in with Empoleon to fast move down for some energy. We came with Trevenant just because we didn't want to take the counter damage, and unfortunately their last Pokemon's Feraligatr, and Drill Peck is just not that great of a move when it's non-stab. And Steel Wings being resisted as a fast move is going to end up having us lose this zero shield situation. We get Shadow Claw down by a Feraligatr, and unfortunately we do end up losing the last match of this collection. But as you can see on screen, that's the second 4-1. It was like 10 battles, went 8-2, had a bunch of success, should be having Elo very soon. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Preach!